Good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of BS Sports. I'm your host, Megan Morales, alongside Jose Alvarez, and we've got plenty of exciting things to discuss on tonight's show. We'll recap the first month of Bulldog football and take an inside look at Fresno State's defense. We'll also get insight from our very own fantasy experts, who will give you information on the most noteworthy rookie performers in the NFL. And of course, we'll hold our exclusive discussion panel, talking about everything happening right now in sports. But first, to Bulldog football. Pat Hill's team started the season off strong, winning their home opener 28-14 against Cincinnati. The night was highlighted by quarterback Ryan Colburn, who finished the game completing 75% of his passes, throwing for 247 yards and 4 touchdowns. The Bulldogs then had a bye week, which gave them a chance to prepare for their next opponent, WAC rival Utah State. Outscoring the Aggies 41-24, the Bulldogs' continued momentum earned them their first conference win and second on the season. And with starting running back Robbie Rouse sidelined with injuries, sophomore A.J. Ellis filled in nicely, running for 165 yards on 29 carries with 2 touchdowns. But just 1 week later, Fresno State traveled cross-country to Mississippi, only to suffer a heartbreaking 55-38 defeat at the hands of an athletic Ole Miss football team. But despite the tough loss, due in large part to missed opportunities, the Bulldogs' defense has definitely made an attempt to prove themselves.
That's right, Megan. These are some defensive Bulldogs, and they're always looking to protect their property. After giving up an early 14-point lead to the new-look Cincinnati offense, the defense knew they had to turn things around. As the Bearcats looked to add to their 14-0 lead in the second quarter, the Bulldogs began to put the defensive pressure as they forced a fumble and put Cincinnati in a 3rd and 15. The stingy Bulldog defense had now arrived and would continue to stick around as they held the potent Cincinnati offense to 0 points for the rest of the game. Led by junior defensive tackle Logan Harrell, who accounted for 4 sacks, senior defensive end Chris Carter, who had 3 of his own, the Bulldogs made sure that these Bearcats would be tamed. The Bulldog defense helped pave the way for a 28-14 victory. For the next game versus the Utah State Aggies, the defense allowed 24 points but were key in stopping scoring drives as they held Utah State to 5 of 16 on 3rd down conversions. They also held Utah State's quarterback to a low 106 passing yards. Fresno State's defense only allowed 7 points in the second half and helped the Bulldogs offense pull away from a deadlock 17-17 halftime score. Fresno State would go on to a 41-24 victory. The defense was presented with the difficult task of stopping a speedy Ole Miss team. After receiving national attention for its tough defense, the Bulldogs allowed 578 yards of total offense. The defense had previously only allowed 7 second half points the entire season, but surrendered 28 points in the last 2 quarters to the Rebels. Fresno State lost the match 55-38. Part of the problem was stopping Ole Miss's Brandon Bolden, who stuffed the stats with 228 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns.
And now for some stats in the NFL, we turn it over to our very own experts, Andrew Boydston and Christian Walker, to give you the most up-to-date information on this week's fantasy picks.